Hi, hello. Welcome back to another episode of Musings podcast. I'm your host, Gungu Mildred, and I'm so happy that you've joined me on another Saturday for another amazing episode. So, I'm recording this episode still on the 20th of July, but I had told you before that it was going to be a catch up for July, the whole of July. But so there's an entire week that I will have missed. Actually, 2 weeks, by the way. It's 20th. So it's the whole of this week and half of next week, I think. By the time you're getting this on the 1st of August, it will be like 2 weeks ago. So when I was recording this. So bear with me. I just want to be proactive and I want to record early enough and edit them early enough and be able to just, have them in stock because as I said on Wednesday's episode, I don't want to have delays like I did the other week when I had to put it up at 4 p.m. So, on today's episode, I'm going to be musing about July, basically. It's a catching up. And this is catching up number 3 because I think the catching up I've done 2 before, and this is the 3rd one. And I just wanted to catch up because the whole of July, it was Triunfo Del Amor, Triunfo Del Amor. And I didn't really get to talk to you guys. And I didn't really get to rant because a lot has happened. There's something in particular that happened in July. I do not want to talk about it like at all. I've already gone through those motions. And that is the beauty, I think, of having time to deal with things and distress and stuff like that. By the time you get the chance to talk about them again, it is like better. You are more at peace. So there's some things I had to forgive and forget, and some people I had to move on from in July. Because to understand me, you have to have lived my experience. You know what I'm going through, yes. You cannot fully understand. And because you cannot fully understand, it will be easier for you to tell me, just forget about it and move on. Leave it alone and move on. But that's not how life works. Especially for people with trauma, that's not how it works. But yeah, I just had to go through the motions, speak to myself about them, rant in my house about it, cry. I cried. Yo, yo, I cried, prayed to God, begged God, like everything. And then I moved on from it. So I just want to go back to it because I don't want it to annoy me again. So, catching up, right? Water issues. You heard my stories in July complaining about water here and there. And then we were given a new caretaker because the other one ran away. I don't know if I told you this because he woke up and he ran away. And then we were brought for a different caretaker, a lady now. And at the beginning of this month of July, she went around the houses asking us, oh, do you want the water, the borehole water do you want to have access to it? And people are like, yeah. How much is it going to be? She tells us 500 per house. And I'm like, okay, because water is a service, we are paying 500 for the Maji ya Kanjo, the city council water, and it's only coming once a week. And it's not even enough for you to bathe or do whatever. Like, you just have to store it. Because it's like I haven't used my shower, believe it or not, for over a month now. Like, I just bathe like with water in the basin. My shower has not been turned on for over a month. And actually, by the end of this month, it will be 2. By now, if these 2 past weeks, there have not been any changes, it will be like 2 months now. Or even more, actually, I believe. Since I took a shower, like a proper shower, I miss, especially this cold. I just sometimes want to go, stand there, switch the shower on and just stand like with the hot water just going down my body. I miss that so much. Since March, it has been problematic. And so this woman tells us, oh, borehole water. And I'm like, okay, I'll pay the 500 if you prove to us, like if you have water throughout the month. Because it's the beginning of the month, you want to do the piping, blah, blah, blah. If we have water constantly 24/7, then I'll pay the 500. If we do not have constantly 24/7, I'm not paying you 500 because water is a service. It's not like rent. Rent, as long as my things are in here, even if I myself am not here, I'll have to pay the rent. But water I have to use it in order to pay for it. And she goes like, yeah, of course, of course. She writes a list of people who want, and I was like, who didn't want the supplementary water, because we're used to having water 24/7, and since February we have not been having that. So of course people will be like, yeah, I want that. Anyway, that week there's a whole rush of pipes and new pressure pumps and I don't know what else. Things are being done, things are moving, things are moving. She was asking us this like on a Monday or a Tuesday. By Friday, nothing. Just pipes and stuff. But no water still. The weekend comes, nothing. Monday the next week, again, nothing. Tuesday, we hear like water is being pumped, but she does not turn it on for us at night. On Wednesday, she does. Actually, no, that first week, I think one of the neighbors is the one who turned on the water. So that first week, I was able to get like enough water because I don't know how she did it, but she switched on the water and I had water. Like I was able to stock up in my tank, like in my like the 210-liter one. It was full plus my basins and buckets and stuff, and had cooking water and drinking water. And it had been bad for a while because there's a time I didn't even have cooking water. I'd been buying drinking water, I'd been buying cooking water, and it was so expensive, and I wasn't making enough money to be able to do all of these things. And whoever was asking to help me to get the money for that was like, I do not have, I do not have, I do not have. Until at the end, I was just like, you know what, you guys just help me. Whoever can just help. And some people did, like 2 people did, and I was so grateful. I'm still and forever will be grateful because I was at my wit's end. Spending money every week, if you're earning money, like if you have like if you're earning money every single day and you have these expenses, that will help. But when you're depending on, like when I'm baking, it's one order after a long time, and the other things that I'm doing and I'm bringing money like as quickly as I would want or as much as I would want. I mean, it was stressful. June was stressful. June with the water issues. Yo, I do not know how much I spent on water in June, but I'm sure it was over 1,000 bob. And this is after paying 500 for water with my rent. It was bad. It was hectic. I was thinking of moving, but that is more expenses because I need to find rent and deposit. And then this woman was brought, and she started doing all of these things, and I was like, okay, maybe I can chill and see, give her time, maybe she will learn, and things will go back to being how they used to be. That first week, the other neighbor, is the one who saved me. Otherwise, I would not have had water. I would have had to still look for money to buy water. So the first week went great. Second week, water comes. Luckily, I still had some of the water that I had collected the previous week. So the tank still filled up quickly. And I got water for drinking and cooking and stuff like that. So that second week, I was also good. Third week, nope, no water. It came on Wednesday. I don't know why she's opening, like she's turning on the water for us only on Wednesday night. She turned it on. It came for like 15 minutes. I got drinking and cooking water. I remember I was even on the phone with my grandmother. We were talking and I was like, I don't know what is happening, because it was on Tuesday actually. Yeah, it was on Tuesday night, because lights went off on Monday, right? And then I couldn't talk because we usually talk on Mondays. We couldn't talk because I told her my battery is not enough. On Tuesday, I had to, because I was like, I don't want to delay so much, because I don't know how long the electricity is going to be off. And so I called her on Tuesday. Yeah, they turned on the water for us on Tuesday. So collected for drinking, for cooking, and a little bit in my buckets and basin. When I put the pipe in my drum now to fill up, didn't even go, and it still had a little water. It didn't even get to half, and then the water was gone. On Wednesday, I asked this woman, because I had her talking like upstairs, and I asked her. I opened my door and I was like, "Hey, what's up with the water? Is there more coming today? Are you still turning it on for us today?" She was like, yeah, it's even pumping right now, so you're going to have water in the evening. And I'm like, okay. So I calmed down. I'm like, okay, because I was now my mind was starting to race again. I'll have to look for money to buy water this week again. So stress is already kicking in. And when I had her talking and I asked, I was like, okay, now I cooled down. I was like, fine, let me chill. Evening, 9, 10, 11, 12. I was going to bed at 3. Nothing. No water still. I wake up on Thursday, still nothing. And I think it was on Friday when I woke up in the morning and I go to use my bathroom, and the tank, like the flashing tank, I don't know how you call it, it drips water. Like sometimes if it's it overflows sometimes and it starts leaking and stuff. I don't know how to describe that situation, but unaelewa, like inamwaga maji. So I find water on the floor in the bathroom, and I'm like, so there's water. Because I'm like, yeah, maybe she finally got the borehole water to come through. Use the bathroom, go to use the tap, nothing. There's no water. So she turned water on in the morning, early in the morning, because this was around 9 a.m. and there was nothing. There was no water. So I'm like, okay, is it the other neighbor who did it for herself? Or is it this woman? Because she knows she's supposed to turn the water on at night, not in the morning, but she had done it in the morning. So I ignore. I still had some water to use. So I was like, okay. And then I remember, oh no, the water I have is just for today. I'll need water. So I buy some. And then I'm like, okay. On Saturday, I still have the water that I had bought the previous day. And on Sunday, I wake up now as I'm recording this. This happened like this Sunday. It's already on the 20th, but on the 19th. I wake up in the morning and I still do not have water. The water I had bought is finished, so I have to buy more. And I'm like, okay. But because I woke up in the morning and there was water again in my flashing whatever. And then I turn on the taps again, nothing. And I'm like, what is wrong with this woman? When is she turning on the water? Because it was 10. I had gone to bed at around 4, I think. And now it's 10 a.m. When did she turn it on? And who was she turning it on for? I brush my teeth, blah, 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 freshen up, and I go downstairs because I'm like, I don't have to buy water if she's going to turn it on again, like later on in the day or in the evening. But if she doesn't, I'll have to buy water again. So I go to her house and I knock. By the way, she has a special tank. She has running water 24/7. I knock on her door and she opens and I'm like, hey, so what's happening? Yesterday you told me you're going to turn on the water. You didn't. Because I had asked her, you told me on Wednesday and then there was nothing. And now what's happening? She goes, no. Every pipe has been fixed now. The pressure, blah, blah, blah is good. Actually, water is pumping. So you're going to have, from today evening, you're going to have water 24/7. Yesterday I went to check in the drums upstairs and the tanks weren't, that full. So I couldn't turn them on. But they turned them on in the morning. And I'm like, in the morning for who? You turn water on at night when everybody's at home. Because what time are you turning it on in the morning? Someone like me who work from home, I sleep late. So I wake up at either 9 or 10, sometimes 11, depending, because I can even go to bed sometimes at 6. Like when I have insomnia, things can happen. I can even wake up at midday. So that is me. There are other people, because sometimes I'm going to bed at 4 or at 5 and a neighbor of mine is waking up, showering and leaving for work by 5:30 or by 6. So when is that person supposed to ever get water? I told her, stop turning on the water in the morning, do it at night from 9 or 10. You'd rather even do it at 11 if you think that people are very, coming home late, but not in the mornings. And I asked her, okay, so I was thinking of buying water today as well, which is more money, and I do not like doing that. So are you going to turn on water? Because I can hear water coming into the tank downstairs. And she goes like, yeah, imagine, yeah, there's water coming in, so I'll definitely turn it on at night. I'm like, okay. So we are going to have water at night. You'll switch it on for us and you're going to have water. Yes, because I need you to confirm so that I do not buy water. Because I need water and I do not have enough. I need you to tell me that you're going to definitely switch it on for us at night so that I can be relaxed. Otherwise, tell me so that I can buy. No, there's going to be water in the evening. Don't worry. And I leave that place and I come back to my house and I start my day. Believe you me, as I'm recording this at 2:40 a.m., nothing. It was not switched on. Like I do not have water now completely, which if she would have told me, I would have bought water during the day. I would have had water in the house. So like I have others that are stored, yes. But if I got a visitor or if I had, I don't know, bad stomach or something like that, I will be in trouble. So now I have to go to bed with my tap on just in case she turns it on in the morning again. So that I can be able to hear it at least hitting the sink and it will wake me up or something. Because she did not do it. And I'm like, does she have a friend in the compound who told her to be turning it on for her so that they can take a shower before going to work, or what is happening? Because that is so crazy. She's only serving a couple of people and the rest of us, what are we supposed to do? Because I know most of my neighbors who wake up very early in the morning and leave for work. You can hear the footsteps on the stairs like early in the morning, and others who sleep in because they're going to work at midday or something. So, I don't know what is happening. I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired. So this is definitely coming out 2 weeks from now. So afterwards, maybe the next episode, next Saturday's episode, because that one I'll have to wait to at least get to this moment so that I can notify you if it was resolved or not. But I'm definitely very upset with these people. Like totally. Anyway, she's just a liar. I kept imagining going to her and yelling to her, like, do not lie to me. If there's no water, just tell me there's no water. If you're not going to turn it on, just tell me that so that I can know, because you're wasting my time. I went downstairs when I had nothing to do downstairs. And now they're locking the door. Like if I order for water for somebody to bring it to me, I'll have to go downstairs, open the door for them, let them come in. I pour the water and then I go back downstairs with them, open for them so that I can leave and then lock the gate. So you're making me exercise when I do not want to do it. Let me tone it down because I don't want to get upset. It's very late at night. I don't want to get upset right now. But she has irritated me. When I said like last Wednesday's episode, like I'm so pissed, this is why. Because I waited and nothing. I still do not have water. Tomorrow morning I'll have to wake up and I do not even have a phone number where I can just call and be like, what's happening? So I leave the tap on so that if she opens in the morning, I can hear and at least get some. Or if she doesn't, then I'll have to wake up and ask those guys who usually deliver water to deliver water for me. More money. And these people expect me to pay them, I don't know, 500 through my rent for water that I do not have, and an extra 500 for borehole water that I do not have. They are going to see Shege. Let them wait. I'm waiting for this month's end. They're going to see Wahala. Anyway, electrical issues. Yesterday while I was recording the other episode, the lights went off. They haven't gone off today, and I hope that they won't happen again. But those 3 days that we did not have electricity, my God, I had music, thankfully. I have like a Bluetooth speaker which helped because the whole compound was quiet. It was so quiet. My neighbors usually make noise like from very early in the morning. They were also very quiet. Actually, they left. They came back after the lights came back on Wednesday. They came back in the evening. I don't know who was notifying them of the progress or what, but they came back on Wednesday night after the lights came back during the day that Wednesday. The others, even if they were at home, you couldn't know. Quiet. Just the place was, I don't like that. Like, I like being by myself, don't get me wrong. I'm an introvert. I love my own space and I love my quiet and my own calmness and everything. But knowing that I'm surrounded by people usually helps. So the only time you could hear noises is when people are going up and down the stairs. Other than that, quiet. At night, it was dark inside the house, but outside, because I told you we have two like lines for electrical lines. So one was working, which means our stairs had lights and the caretaker had lights and a few other houses, but most of the others we were in darkness. So like for me, I would just light the candle while I was cooking and then use it while I'm eating. After that, I wouldn't need it anymore. So I would just stay in darkness, thinking about my life, going to bed, wanting to sleep and no sleep because I'm used to sleeping at 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning. And it was hectic. It was hectic. I would blow out my candle and just sit in darkness. But hey, y'all, I hope that never happens again. And still do not know what happened, like what was wrong. Because I know that there's some areas in this neighborhood of ours that still do not have electricity up to now. One of our street lights, those ones, one of them is still not working, or I think one or two, because our like downstairs is usually very, bright even at night. Like the lights usually work very well, but I think towards the end of the street, they're not working. So I don't know what's happening, but hope they resolve that issue, whatever it is. And then we'll be done with that. Like I don't want to ever get worried about electricity ever again. Because if you do not have electricity, then you do not have water completely, because you need electricity to pump the water. So imagine having water issues and have electrical issues. And if it's the whole estate, that means even that one from the borehole will not get. So you can imagine how this place will smell and look and hey. Triunfo Del Amor. This show, I love it. And as I said, I enjoyed watching it, even though I was just most of the time getting pissed by what was happening, because I was like, I did not feel anything. I was not emotional at any moment. Nothing moved me while I was watching it and everything. And then I said, okay, let me talk to you about what I was feeling and what was happening in the show. And I didn't know that it was going to take the whole of July. Like I knew there were going to be a few episodes, but then the way I divided them, it ended up being all of the Saturdays in July. And those 5 episodes were the longest, because hear me out. I didn't know that I was going to get so bored talking about this show. As I said, it did not captivate me the way it did the first time I watched it. I love William Levy. I love Maite Peroni. I love Daniela Romo and all the other actors in the show, but and it was so long. So like there are even people that even now I realize they did not talk about. And I'm like, I'm done. There are moments I was supposed to talk about, but because I hadn't written any of those things that I was saying down, I was just talking about them from memory, whatever I'd watched. Like, it was just, after I've recorded, that's when I will remember, like, oh my God, I did not talk about this, or I did not mention so and so. I did not talk about this moment, and it was an important moment. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be bothered about it. I'm just telling you what I thought about it, and you can go and watch it on Novella's Kingdom. So by the time I was doing Maria, Max, and Fernanda, I was done. I just done the first one, and then Bernarda and Father Juan Pablo and Osvaldo. And I think I got bored during Osvaldo and Victoria. And then during Maria, Fernanda, and that I was just like, no. No, 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 no. I don't know why I did this. So I'm not going to do the same thing with Sortilegio, because I'm watching it now and it's very interesting. And actually, Abyss of Passion has just started as well. So there's going to be that as well. And I'm not going to do what I did for Triunfo Del Amor. So never again. Maybe after Sortilegio is done, I'll just talk about it like ile kijuju, just to mention key moments, blah, blah, blah. But not going to do a deep dive like this one. Not going to talk about the characters and break them. Because I was bored. Like every time I had to record those episodes, I was like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like even now as I'm talking to you, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? But at least this one is I'm talking about myself. I'm talking about the life that I'm experiencing here and the stress that I'm going through, my music, my stresses and everything. Because this is my platform to vent. But talking about those shows, but I'm glad. As I'm recording this, we're still at 56 subscribers. I'm sure it's thanks to that, to Triunfo Del Amor. I think people saw the photos I was using and they were like, yeah, let me click. Because they have so many views, but I'm sure they weren't watching the whole thing. They weren't listening to the whole thing. They would click on them and then listen to what I'm saying a little bit and be like, oh, it's not the show itself. And then they would leave, which is funny because my recordings were, I don't know, 35 minutes, 32 minutes, 30 something minutes. How would you think that that is the whole series? And usually an episode is 42. But anyway, I understand people, they want something good. But now, actually, there are others. Oh my God, there's another site on YouTube called Novelissima or something like that. And guess what show they have just started? This is from the back in the day. Back in the day. It's called La Mujer de mi Vida, The Woman of My Life. Episode 1 came out, I think, yesterday or 3 days ago. I think they showed 3 days ago. So, and that's a different site. So, hey, I didn't know I'm going to get the money to continue downloading these shows to keep on watching them, because it's like I'm reliving my childhood. And I hope that is not going to disappoint me, because the themes from those telenovelas from back in the day, like Ruby, they were crazy. So as a kid, I was like, oh, The La Mujer de mi vida. I love Mario Simaro. Oh my god! Just seeing him again, I listened to the opening theme, and I was like, I just remembered seeing it back in the day, and seeing Mario Simaro again. Oh my god! I haven't watched it. I just saw like episode one. I clicked on episode one so that my algorithm can pick it up and show like be like, yeah, I'm interested. So I'm waiting for it to go a couple of episodes before I download it, because I don't want to watch episode one today and then wait and watch episode two. I don't know when. So I'm waiting. I'm still finishing up on Sortilegio. Abuse of Passion just started on Novelas Kingdom. So if you're a fan of telenovelas and you are a fan of the ones from back in the day and you missed them and you want to watch them, go on Novelissima and Novelas Kingdom and watch them there. You will enjoy, I swear. But yeah, I feel so happy seeing La Mujer de mi vida, because hey, that one took me back. I don't know how old I was, but it was back in the day. So last thing I'm going to talk about is the future of this channel. So I want to continue doing this, and I hope that it will work. I have plans, but I need some help here and there. I wish I had a good phone so that I can be able to do great things with, like, on TikTok and stuff, because I've been given some advice about doing some things on TikTok, like the videos I wanted to create, blah blah blah. I can do them on TikTok about my writing and stuff like that, so that people like sponsors and stuff can see my work there, and maybe I can start making money off of that. But the phone I have, like right now, it's telling me that I have like 500 and something space, which I'm checking, and believe it or not, I've deleted so many. I had to delete TikTok, I deleted Facebook, I deleted so many other apps, but then it will show me like, okay, you have 3 GB free after I delete something. Then after 1 week, that 3 GB has been filled by what I do not know. I delete is it cache or cache or whatever. I delete it. I try to check whatever has filled. There's nothing. Like I can't see anything that has filled that space because I haven't downloaded anything new. And even the stories that I download to read, they're usually like, I don't know, 5 MBs, 8 MBs. They're not that heavy. So I don't know. Maybe it's the things that I delete, they go somewhere and store themselves for like 30 days or something, and there's no way of finding them. My files does not have a place like that. I've checked, like there's nowhere that these things are going when I delete them. So I don't know what's happening with this phone. All I know is that it cannot help me with what I really want. But somebody told me like YouTube does not pay very well for Kenyan creators. I knew that. But I'm still trying. But I'm thinking by the time we hit 2 years, if I wouldn't have gotten like enough subscribers, I'll see. I don't know. Maybe I can just concentrate on the TikTok things that I want, and YouTube I can do other things with it. Or I don't know. But I'm thinking about different ways of improving my content creation journey, and maybe finally see it being able to pay me, because looking for work has been stressful. It's still stressful because I'm still doing it. I don't want to stop looking for work. I hope that I get it. But if I don't, I want to make this content creation thing something that I can actually feed myself from, right? So I don't know. If it doesn't work the way I want it to work by November, I might have to call it quits on YouTube. But then TikTok, the advice I've been given, I want to follow it, but I cannot download TikTok on my phone. And even if I do and I start now creating content there and posting them through my phone, this phone, by the camera is just bad. So there's that. And then I know I can do some of the things for TikTok using my laptop, and I'll try actually so that I can avoid using my phone. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I really don't know. But if you haven't followed me on TikTok, go and do it right now, so that by that time when I start, creating there and doing the things that I want to do, you can be able to follow, you know. And I also need just Wi-Fi. If I get Wi-Fi for a week straight, then I think I'll be able to do the things that I need to do. Check everything I need, because now I'm putting like kidogo just to watch, to download things that I need to watch for for this YouTube thing. So it's not helping much. But if I get Wi-Fi for a full week, I can be able to do the research about the advice I was given, and maybe do 1 to 3 things that are going to help me in the long run. So stay tuned. I'll notify you when it happens. And as I told you, the intro and outro song is going to change at some point, because for me to be able to monetize the channel, if it ever gets to that, I'll not be able to do it with the intro and outro that I have right now, because it's under somebody who they say they allow it to be used on YouTube and it's free. But yeah, once my channel starts being monetized, they will want something out of it. And I'm not interested in working so hard only for me to end up giving my money to other people. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I hope you have caught up with what has been happening. Hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm going to leave it at this. We'll do more catching up as time goes by. Next Saturday, I don't know what I'm going to talk about, because now I've gone back to that. Like, the only thing that Triunfo Del Amor gave me talking about it was that I knew what was coming every Saturday. But now, starting from next week, I don't know. But I'm sure I'll figure something out, okay? I can check the TikTok trends and stuff, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Maybe something will happen. This world, we always have news. So something might happen in the world and I'll have something to talk about. So don't worry, don't fret. I'll still be musing here. And I hope that you're going to come and continue listening to me. Help me by telling a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Remember to also watch. Like, remember to be here. I need the 4,000 watch hours. And yeah, I'm not getting them so far. Like, if I told you how many watch hours I have so far, you will laugh. You will laugh. Hey, yo. So that's why I'm saying, like, if November comes and I haven't achieved the thing that I want to achieve, or even just a quarter of what I want to achieve, I think I'm going to call it quits on YouTube, at least for a while, until I figure things out and I get the subscribers that I need and stuff. And then maybe we can do it sometime next year again. But yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Hope you're having a lovely weekend. Hope you have a lovely week next week. And let's meet again on Wednesday for Wednesday's show next week. And it's going to be Namaste Wahala. That's the movie we're going to be reviewing. Okay? So yeah, remember that I'm still cooking and I'm still baking. So if you want, you can make your orders through my TikTok or my DM. Mimi's Musings Podcast. That's on Instagram and on TikTok. Remember to join me on Patreon. Follow me on Patreon. That is patreon.com/Miliana. Please do that and pay the tier that you want. I have 5 for now, so you can join and support a sister. I'm releasing stories there, by the way. Even I'm still on a different story, but once I get to the one I was writing before Boss on my blog, I'll continue it there. I'll not continue it on my blog for now, because as I said, I need to monetize my work, and I'd rather it's not read by anybody until I'm able to get 1 or 2 people who can appreciate my work and actually decide to pay for it, instead of just giving out to people for free. So I'm also going to be selfish with my content. Here I can talk, I can do whatever, but there, those ones that I have to write and sit down and read through the work, and oh no, not giving it for free anymore. So yeah, Patreon. Remember to come back here and like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications, so that whenever I upload something new, you're going to be amongst the first.